Hi. Thanks for joining us for our Eastside 5 by 5 by 5 daily Bible reading for the week of January 31st through February 6th, 2021. Actually, daily Bible reading is kind of a misnomer a little bit. There are 5 daily Bible readings, but you've got 7 days in which to read them. I'm Zeke. I'm with the Eastside Church of Christ in Baytown, and I'm your host as we look at some summaries of our weekly readings. This week, we are looking at the final chapters of Galatians chapters 5 and 6, as well as Ephesians 1 through 3. Now, in Galatians chapter 5, Paul continues with the theme of a slave that has been set free, and he emphasizes that freedom can be lost and the once free return to slavery. In chapter 5 and in verse 4, he plainly states that salvation can be had and then lost. After all, if we're saved by grace through faith in Christ, as Paul says we are in Ephesians 2 verse 8, what else can phrases like severed from Christ and fallen from grace, which he uses in Galatians 5 verse 4, what else can they mean? Paul goes on to remind that even freedom can be abused, and we must use freedom's opportunities for the betterment of others. He contrasts the works of the flesh in verses 19 through 21 with the fruit of the Spirit in verses 22 through 23. And he strongly encourages Christians to make the effort to produce the fruit of the Spirit in their lives. Chapter 6 of Galatians continues to make the point that while there are some responsibilities that are one's alone to bear, we must do all we can to share and relieve the burdens of others. I want you to note the individual emphasis in this passage as well as the focus on spiritual work. As we look over into the book of Ephesians, which is a letter that Paul wrote while he was in a Roman prison, in spite of the fact that Paul was in a Roman prison, the epistle abounds with encouragement for Christians. Some things become quickly apparent, such as the heavy emphasis Paul places on phrases such as in Christ, in Him, in the Beloved. Look in just the first half of chapter 1 and see how often those phrases occur there. Clearly, Paul teaches that all of God's kind intentions for mankind are only to be had in His Son, and God has worked to unfold that plan that He already had since before the foundation of the world, as Paul puts it in verse 4 of chapter 1. Chapter 2 soars to great heights in describing the contrast between being lost in sin and being saved in Christ. And, of course, there's no doubt as to which state is better. The apostle describes the plan of God as being the great unifying principle for Jews and Gentiles, that all men would be one in His Son. And he uses these vivid metaphors to describe the unifying blessings. The new relationship with God not only makes Christians His children, but makes humanity into one new man, makes them citizens of a heavenly kingdom and stones in a grand edifice built upon the apostles who themselves built upon Christ. Finally, this week, chapter 3 continues to expound upon the wisdom and eminence of God by including the Gentiles in His great eternal plan. Such a realization drives Paul to his knees in prayer and homage and praise to God for having implemented such a wonderful plan. But also, Paul prays that his readers would fully know their own place in that plan. Truly, we've got some great reading this week, as all of our reading is. And I hope that you'll take the time to continue to read along with us. We'll see you next time. God bless you.